Geno, Bullard, of course, with a number of students from Noble Preparatory School. Of course, we'll talk about sports in our education system. Sports in our education system leaves a lot to be desired, and if I was the Prime Minister just for one day, all schools will come out at 5 p.m. in the evening. And also, there's going to be probably an hour of evening classes. Just as parents go to work from 9 to 5, students will start to go to school from 8 to 5 p.m. in the evening. The more we keep these kids occupied, the more they'll be at the positive stuff. And so that's what my aim and objective is. And of course, in our physical education system, in our schools today, I think they need to increase the time period. And sports should be seen as mathematics and English. It should be seen in the same light or every other subject a part of our school curriculum. Our telephone line 676-415, 367-64199. Coach Geno, Bullard, welcome to Sports Radio 103. You and the guys.
Good morning, Mr. Feast. Good morning, Bahamas.
And one by one, let the fellas come to the microphone. Let us know who they are. One by one.
Good morning, Mr. Feast. Good morning, Mr. Bahamas. My name is Gary Betterfield, grade 12 of Noble Preparatory.
Good morning, Mr. Feast. My name is Alexander Johnson from Noble Preparatory Academy.
Good morning. Good morning, Bahamas. My name is Andre Duke. I'm grade 12 at Noble Preparatory Academy.
Good morning, I'm Shamal Burrows from Noble Preparatory Academy, Junior Prefect in grade 10.
Hello, good day. My name is Javon Count, grade 11 at Noble Preparatory Academy.
All right, guys. So, Coach, come back to the microphone because I want us to start this discussion quick. Because you've been a part of the BAISS system. Also, you are your education in the Bahamas. So let's talk about sports in our education system. You think we're serious about sports?
Well, I don't think that we are as serious as we can be. But you know, from my personal opinion, I think that we could do much more. You know, in terms of trying to implement better sporting associations, first of all. You know, with more incentives. I think the associations have to do a better job of presenting a better product, not only to the students but also to the parents. A lot of parents don't get a chance to really see their kids participate in any type of sports because of their work hours. I also think at the end of a grueling season that you know, the kids should be given some higher sort of benefit towards what they're doing, like more incentive. As far as education-wise, I think there's much more that we could do in that department also.
As far as the structure, let's talk about the structure now. How is it all set up? And what is said to, let's say, a physical education teacher at the beginning of a school curriculum? What is said to a physical ed teacher? What is the mandate? Are you guys given a particular mandate at the beginning of the year? Say these are your goals for this particular school year.
Well, I think probably every school have their own mandates. You know, some may emphasize in certain areas and some may not. So I guess it'll depend on the values that each school have and what they're placing priority on in each structure. You know, you have different visions from different leaders. So, you know, sports might not be that important to a particular leader. So I guess it varies between the different type of persons that you're dealing with.
Let's talk to the next generation now. For the next generation, come to the microphone because I want your perspective. Each of you went to a government school or a private school before going to Noble Preparatory School. Let's talk about sports and how it's seen by your peers and even the schools that you attended.
You want to know about the previous school?
The previous school, let's talk with the previous school.
Okay,
give me your perspective on how sports are seen.
I attended C.R. Walker before I came to Noble Preparatory. The education there, first of all, it was more hectic, I'd say. Not really easy to learn, as you would say, because you had about 40 students in one class, and then you're trying to learn, and you get 30% of the class who willing to work, and the other 70% just into their own whatever. At Noble Preparatory Academy, I received like a one-on-one basis with my teacher, where as the class move as one. So if one person is behind, the whole class is behind. So we now have to catch up with that one person so we all could go forward together. But in my previous school, I didn't really have that. what you didn't get, you'd have to go to the teacher. But where I am now, they make sure that you get it, and so that we can move forward.
And let's talk. I see. I want to talk about the sports. And I want to know what you and your peers discuss really regarding sports. How you all see sports? Do you all see sports from a business perspective or just recreational? Or do you understand the potential around sports?
We all understand what sports could do for us. We have our goals and our dreams, but some of us just aren't taught how we could really achieve them and stuff. So we end up going by our dreams, saying that we may wake up one day and be the best in the country, but not really taught how we could go about being the best and all that, and what we could do.
All right, so two.
Oh,
I'm good.
I think, like you said, we are one inside the class. So I think being a small school at Noble is, the chemistry, it works on the court as well as in the class. We help each other, we pull each other up so that we all succeed together. And that makes for good chemistry on the basketball court. So I think that payments, we take basketball very seriously.
We take it seriously?
Yeah, I think where we fall is knowing how to balance it with education. Because education is very important along with basketball. Because education will take you where you want to go. So yeah, I think.
So what you and your friends, what you and your peers discuss, man? Like when our coach Bullard ain't around or none of the teachers around. Let's talk, man. Let's talk about some of them things y'all talk about. You think we serious about sports in the Bahamas, man? Let's talk.
Yeah, we serious.
You think we serious?
Well, me and my parents said no, we serious.
Y'all serious? But they ain't in the Bahamas here, y'all.
Yeah, coach talked to us a lot. He's explained us how to work as a unit and how to help each other up and help the Bahamas up, because we represent the Bahamas when we go everywhere. So yeah.
Johnson, come to the microphone, man. You used the deputy head boy?
Senior prefect.
Senior prefect. That's the senior prefect of the school, y'all.
Alright, see when me and my parents get together, everyone believes that.
Come to the microphone, man. Come to the microphone. Don't be shy.
They believe that basketball, they can get them in life. Some of them it might, and some others it might not. So you need something to fall on. If you get education, that can get you a job, and that'll help you with your success. That's my point of doing that.
But what you think about sports in your old school? How you think of the educators in your old school view sports? See, Coach Bullard have a different perspective on sports.
Well, I came from, like Gary said, see I walk out. It's like a doggy-dog world there. Just a doggy-dog world.
Doggy-dog world.
Doggy-dog world. Classes, it's a good environment, but it just wasn't the environment for me. I like more of that one-on-one action where I can get, where I can understand and comprehend better. And that I received that at Norwood.
You get that from Norwood. Alright, let's go say, what is the future?
Yeah.
Let's say it's the future. Alright, the future, maybe give some better perspective on this.
During the sports in the Bahamas?
I'm talking but in the education system, straight across the board, not just basketball, right? Because baseball, they even decided to put baseball for senior boys yet. I'm talking about, like, why is it that in our education system we're not focusing on putting sports in there that kids can attain at least a college scholarship from, instead of putting stuff like, okay, softball for senior boys. Don't make no sense. A boy can't get no scholarship for softball, a senior boy. He can't get, I've never seen one. I don't know if he probably would change his gender and decide that he wants to be a girl. Only girls get scholarships for softball. So why not think about putting softball in the schools for just girls and put baseball in school for senior boys? But I want your perspective. See, y'all is the next generation. Y'all fellas right now, 10, 15 years from now, y'all gonna be some of the fellas who probably be making decisions for the country.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I think education is a must.
Talk into the microphone, man.
Well, me personally, I think education is a must, but I feel as if each school should have at least an incentive for one of their most valuable player in each sport and be able to at least give the player a chance to get a college education and be able to proceed. But I think basketball isn't to the level it was back in the day. with the athletes playing now in the leagues, like watching the games, it doesn't look like a senior boys game anymore. It looks like a junior boys game. Like back in the day, the gyms used to be full. And
Why you sound you been for back in the day? I mean, NBA is how you were back in the day.
I've been around a lot of basketball, so and a lot of dudes who play high level basketball. So seeing them play compared to what it is now is just different. It isn't the same, or it isn't any better. It's like it has decreased, not increased.
It's increased in your opinion.
Yeah.
All right, 6764-53, 6764-99. Go to the microphone. Let me hear your perspective. This the cameraman.
I respect for basketball. But me coming from Westminster, basketball is important in that school. Everyone's trying to keep up, trying to keep the trend. The coach Bullard said there were new stuff. And everyone, they didn't worry about education. I ain't talking down to Westminster, but it wasn't really focused on that. And it wasn't serious. They was only worrying about basketball and putting dreams in your head saying, you do this, play good, we get you here. But wasn't worrying about if I was getting good grades or bad grades.
So now, nobody you getting that, the one-on-one.
Coach making sure I keep my grades up. If my grades start falling, government's office say, yeah, grades falling. And that's what happened.
So, Coach, I'm in the microphone, man. Let's talk about the structure now, no preparatory, man. Let's talk about the structure. You know, we hear these fellas and talking about the crowded classrooms and all the other rest of schools, and believe me, it ain't just at C.R. Walker, and it ain't at the rest of the schools. I mean, I even see my kids go to NTA. Big man, NTA ain't like how NTA used to be. The classes there, they crowded. They ain't got no 25 kids in there. I think they got up to like 30 kids in a classroom at a private school like NTA. And so, let's talk about the structure at Noble.
All right. Well, you know, what I wanted to do at Noble Preparatory Academy is just give the students a different option. You know, I feel like everything has become so traditional and accepted, and you know, everything is just a routine now. And I feel like a lot of the institutions have lost their desire to get the maximum results of the students. Is just a big business. You know, the more students that we can put in the classrooms, you know, the more funding that we could get into the school. But I think somewhere along the way, we have lost the importance of what a school is supposed to be, in terms of putting in the right mechanisms and putting the right systems in place to make sure that our kids are getting the best out of their high school education. And I think that's why I wanted to, you know, to go on another route. I know initially starting the school, a lot of persons may have thought that my vision was very strange because we're not a traditional environment, and our times are totally opposite from what, you know, a traditional school system would be. And I think sometimes we have to think out the box. And I've always been a person that you know, that don't allow my visions to be stifled because of lack of support from others. You know, I really look forward in a challenge and trying to create something out of nothing. So coming up with the concept of Noble Preparatory Academy was evident for me to do, being the type of person I am. First of all, our school starts at a totally different time. We begin classes at, well, we enroll at 12:30 and we start at 1, and we conclude at 6:15. And a lot of persons will look at that as being strange, but if you look at some of the issues that we have in the mornings, a lot of students are coming to school late, they don't properly eat in the mornings, a lot of parents are rushing, hectic, traffic, stress, you know, there's a lot of things that go on early in the morning that can contribute to why a student cannot perform, you know, at its best around those maybe 9 and 10 o'clock hours in the morning. So at Noble, we give our students the opportunity to you know, get a good breakfast. Parents don't have to be rushing, so it's less stress on them. Midday is perfect time for learning. That's when all your senses and everything are totally percolating about around noon. Okay. Students have the opportunity to get a hearty breakfast and a big lunch before we start our session. So it's no excuse why they should be fiddling around or being, a distraction in class, because that's one issue that they shouldn't have. And once they're in school during those hours between like 12 and 6, it's nothing but work. Because we also simulate in a college environment where we want our students to be prepared, not just to take the BGCSEs and the local examinations, but to be able to go off internationally, abroad, mainly into Niagara College, where we send our students to. And during the peak hours of the day, like between 3 and 5 is the high time where most of our young men get into trouble. All right, so we also incorporate that into our program, also being able to take that element away, and a parent could safely know that around 4 or 5 o'clock, they know where their son, they know where their students are. They're safely in school and learning. Also, by the time it's 5 or 6 o'clock when the parent get off, normally in a normal setting, school is already done, of issues with speaking to teachers. So a lot of things are falling between the cracks because the parents don't have the time to come during lunch, and by the time they're finished, school is already out. So there's a lot of little miscommunications and small little issues that lead to bigger issues that we're not taking into consideration. The parents can comfortably come in after 6 o'clock, after they finish work, come in and sit down with teachers and find out exactly what's going on with their students. Now, once school is concluded at 6:15, most of their friends or their peers would have already been exhausted for whatever they've been doing, and the students already have a long day of school, so by the time as they reach home 7, 8 o'clock, they're doing homework 9 o'clock, time to go back to bed to start all over again. So our program has looked at all the different facets and aspects of how we can get the best out of our students. It's not traditional, but sometimes we need to think out the box. Because even with our program with assisting students to go to college, every year I have students from QC, I have students from SAC, I have students from every one of these traditional schools still come into Noble to get into college. And even with our system, as small as we are, we give the incentives to our students that the student that has the highest GP at the end of the year, we give them a full scholarship at Niagara College, which in turn gives the students the opportunity to have some type of incentive. So instead of just looking at a sports scholarship, you can get an academic scholarship, which is very good in terms of the students that are coming for us for help. These students who probably never thought that they would go to college, but here it is that they're given an atmosphere where they can achieve that goal. And it also gives the parents, a ray of sunshine, saying that, hey man, I thought, this probably would have been it for my son, but here it is. He's remotivated, he's re-educated. We have parents coming in all the time saying, man, the students are home doing homework, and they're so busy that they don't have that old social life that they have no more, so they've fallen out of that loop. And it just takes us to go there and find different ways to learn, different ways to offer help, different ways to educate. Not just the traditional way, which is proven, it's still good, but a lot of things that we can do different, we're not looking at because, hey, this is what we know and this is what it's always been, so we tend to just stick with something that's familiar than to try something new.
All right, that's thinking out of the box. Anyway, guys, we're going to go to our first break here on the last shot. Mr. Feast on ZSR 103.5. On the other side of this break, guys, we're going to talk about, of course, the BIS championship just gone recently, and I saw the power rankings come on, and I'm like, how can Queens College win the BIS high school basketball championship and only be ranked at number 11? Are you serious, really? Who's doing I guess the rankings? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of question that ranking. How can you win the BIS championship and be ranked at number 11? But who is that individual doing the power ranking? Who is that fella? I would like to meet him. I'd like to have a discussion with him to find out how he came to that conclusion. But anyway, guys, you're listening to the last show, Mr. Feast on ZSR 103.5. The new voice of sports in the Bahamas, Sports Radio 103. And could you imagine, like Sesame Street taught us back in the day, that one segment was always use your imagination. Could you imagine Noble Preparatory is allowed to compete against those rest of schools? I imagine that they probably would be undefeated for probably about 10 years straight. And nobody could probably be close to that because of the system that's in place. But Noble, I'm just saying. I'm only saying. Keep your eyes locked to CSR 103.5. And that's no knock on none of y'all other fellas. And if I could say in the fella named Lil Wayne, if I could say in Lil Wayne's voice, that's no knock on none of you other coaches out there. But Coach Bullard, our system working, it'll work. Keep your dials locked to CSR 103.5, the new voice of sports in the Bahamas. Stay tuned, we're coming back.